Welcome back to the Deep Dive, where we take your greatest, most tantalizing questions, point them straight at an intimidating stack of sources, and emerge with the key insights you need to understand not just what happened, but what could have happened.
Today, we're strapping in for a deep dive into an alternate history that changes the fundamental scaffolding of the Harry Potter saga. We are answering a query that modifies everything we think we know about the boy who lived and his best friend.
That's right. Our mission today is tackling the premise we've dubbed the Flare and the Spare, a deep chronological examination of the Wizarding War, completely reshaped by a single powerful moment of teenage insecurity. What if Ron Weasley was sorted into Hufflepuff?
But before we even get to the sorting hat, we have to establish the profound initial change in this time. Harry Potter was never placed with the Dursleys.
Right.
This is the cornerstone upon which the entire narrative shifts.
In the canonical timeline, Dumbledore placed Harry with Petunia to activate the bond of Blood Lily Potter's sacrifice, which gave Harry immense protection rooted in, love and kinship. But our sources suggest a slight tweak to Dumbledore's decision-making process.
Exactly. We assume Dumbledore, who was known for relying on Professor McGonagall's observations, took her distress very, very seriously. In this reality, McGonagall's observations convinced him that the Dursleys were they were unfit parents.
Subjecting young Harry to profound neglect and emotional cruelty, even as a baby.
And since Dumbledore lamented this for years in the original series, he changed his course. He requires a willing wizarding family, someone who can offer not just safety, but genuine love and a connection to the original Order of the Phoenix.
And the Weasleys are the obvious choice.
They're the perfect choice. Molly Weasley's connections through her brothers, Fabian and Gideon Prewitt, members of the original Order, make them they volunteer immediately.
So Harry is placed with them as a baby. He grows up informed, knowledgeable about the wizarding world, already practicing on a broom.
And most importantly, he's fully integrated as the newest Weasley.
Which means Harry arrives at Hogwarts already feeling like a Gryffindor. He's brave, he's protected, and he knows his destiny. But for Ron, this setup just stacks his already potent insecurities even higher.
I mean, think about the pressure. He is already the sixth Weasley brother.
Yeah.
He's following Bill, the head boy and cursebreaker, Charlie, the Quidditch legend, Percy, the prefect, and then Fred and George, the universally beloved, hilarious, successful entrepreneurs in the making. Ron is already struggling to define himself.
And now his newest brother is the most famous wizard in the world, the boy who lived, the one with the inevitable spotlight.
It's not just about catching up to his brothers anymore. He's now the adopted brother of someone he will always be compared to, and often, unfavorably, due to Harry's celebrity status and inherited wealth.
The sources make it really clear that while Ron loves Harry, this intense pressure of always being eclipsed, it just intensifies his desperate, sometimes misplaced, need to stand out. So we arrive at the sorting ceremony. Harry is sorted into Gryffindor, gets the usual thunderous welcome from his new family. Then the hat lands on Ron's head.
And it feels the weight of expectation. 7 Weasley boys, all in Gryffindor. But Ron has reached his breaking point.
He begs the hat.
Not out loud, but meant not Gryffindor. I need my own space. I need to make a name for myself. And the hat, it recognizes the intensity of this insecurity, but also the latent strength in that desire for self-defense, that loyalty to a chosen path.
And just like that, Ron Weasley defies all expectation. He is sorted into Hufflepuff.
The Weasleys are stunned. Ron, seeking to forge his own identity, lands in the house known for dedication, hard work, and loyalty.
This single choice, driven by deep-seated insecurity, immediately fractures the expected partnership. It forces Harry and Ron into this complex, often strained relationship where they are still brothers.
Fiercely loyal, but separated by houses, physical distance in the castle, and Ron's conflicting desires for recognition.
That sets the stage for a dramatic trajectory, one where Ron's actions are constantly motivated by proving his unique worth. So let's start with year 2, the Chamber of Secrets. Even before they set foot on the train, the strain is evident.
Oh, absolutely. The summer has been good, but the trip to Diagon Alley brings that looming shadow back.
The Gringotts Vault.
Exact. Ron has lived with Harry for 11 years, but Gringotts is the undeniable reminder of their financial disparity. Harry has his inherited gold, and Ron is using secondhand everything.
And it's amplified by celebrity perk. Harry receives the top-of-the-line Nimbus 2000 as a free gift from the school for, services rendered in year 1.
And Ron is deeply, profoundly jealous. Harry, being a genuinely kind adopted brother, is desperate to share.
But Mrs. Weasley forbids it?
She absolutely forbids it. And her intention is good. She doesn't want Ron feeling like he's accepting charity from his younger brother. But the outcome for Ron it's a stark, tangible reminder that Harry operates on a different privilege.
A reality Ron can never escape, even within his own family.
And this resentment immediately clouds his judgment. So when Dobby shows up to warn Ron,
He just blows it off. Why?
It's a classic defensive mechanism. Ron's deepest wish is for Harry not to be constantly the center of the nexus of magical drama.
Right.
So he interprets a severe, legitimate warning from Dobby as just another bit of attention-seeking drama centered around he wants to believe this year will be normal, or maybe his year.
And Dobby threatens that fragile hope. Okay, so let's look at the famous chaos of getting Ron suggests taking the car.
Yes, and this is so important. He's desperate for a shared adventure with a real grand adventure separate from the rest of the Weasleys. He sees an opportunity for a grand entrance.
Something that might finally overshadow Bill's head boy status or Fred and George's antics?
It's a vital moment of attempted bond. Despite the house separation and the rivalry, they are brothers who crave that soul. The illegal flight over London is their attempt to recapture that, but it's rooted in Ron's need for spectacle.
An adventure that they, the two youngest Weasley brothers at Hogwarts, can claim together.
And of course, they crash into the Whomping Willow. They get caught by Snape.
And the punishment reinforces the worst of Ron's internal narrative. Favorite.
Totally. Ron expects expulsion for both of them. It was a massive breach of the statute. But Molly Weasley's screaming howler is focused only on Ron.
Because Dumbledore's letter to the Ministry and Mrs. Weasley explained that Ron initiated the illegal act and drove the car.
Which means Harry, the famous boy who lived an adopted Weasley son, escapes the worst He gets a severe warning. Ron gets all.
It's the worst possible out. He attempted a grand gesture, failed spectacularly, and only solidified his feeling that Harry is untouchable, while Ron is constantly the one being scolded.
And this experience just absolutely solidifies Ron's motivation to avoid the Weasley clan at school and to really forge his own identity among his Hufflepuff friends.
Specifically, Ernie Macmillan and Justin Finch-Fletchley.
Exactly.
This shift in social dynamics is fascinating. So Gryffindor and Hufflepuff share herbology. We see Ron sitting with Harry, Justin, and Neville. Now, Neville Longbottom in this timeline is significantly more confident. Why is that?
Because Harry has been a positive, steady force in his life since year one. Neville, having successfully navigated the Devil's Snare alongside and benefited from his unwavering support, is now blooming brilliant in Professor Sprout's eyes right alongside.
And Ron, naturally, resents this acclaim that once again falls on Harry, and now, by proxy, on Harry's closest Gryffindor friend. The spotlight is always on the Gryffindor.
But we do see a little crack in Ron's resentment here.
With Justin.
Yes, the sources mention Justin Finch-Fletchley offers Harry critiques on handling the Mandarin. And Ron genuinely appreciates it's a moment of complicated relief. His Hufflepuff friend is intervening in Harry's success, proving that Ron's new circle has value, even if he still wants his brother.
The favoritism narrative continues directly into detention. Ron gets the decidedly unglamorous job of scrubbing every trophy in the school,
including the dozens that celebrate Harry's Quidditch, academic, or social. It's a literal physical task of cleaning up after Harry's glory.
While Harry is chatting with the school hero, Gilderoy Lockhart, responding to fan mail.
And while he's scrubbing, Ron, unaware of its crucial significance, he memorizes the name Tom Riddle from an old trophy. He just files it away because it was another trophy that wasn't his.
And Harry, of course, the central figure, hears the basilisk for the first time during his detention.
Naturally.
This brings us to the dueling club, which is the immediate consequence of Ron's Hufflepuff separation and that festering jealousy.
Right, so the rumors that Harry is the heir of Slytherin are already circulating, and Ron, surprisingly, has been enjoying the attention he gets as the obvious Harry Potter expert, confirming that he is the most valuable connection to the boy who lived.
But this is where the Brotherhood snaps.
It really does. Snape pits Harry against Malfoy. Malfoy summons a snake, which aims directly for Justin Finch-Fletchley,
Ron's closest Hufflepuff friend, the one who helped him feel integrated.
And Harry acts purely on instinct, calling the snake off in Parseltongue.
For Ron, this is just devastating. He's standing right next to Justin. To him, Harry didn't call the snake off. He communicated with it while it was threatening Ron's newly chosen family.
He's furious, and he feels profoundly betrayed. He confronts Harry immediately after.
And the sources confirm the depth of that confrontation. Ron's insecurity flares into a full-blown accusation. He doesn't just ask about the snake. He demands to know why Harry never told him he could speak Parseltongue.
He yells, "You're a Parselmouth. Why didn't you tell us? You've been living with us for 11 years. Was it a secret you were keeping from your family?"
It just solidifies the public theory. Harry Potter is involved. The confrontation proves the separation between the houses is more than just robe. It's a chasm of trust made worse by the intensity of their brotherhood.
But then the tension dissolves when Hermione is petrified.
Right. Ron's concern for his friend overrides his rival. This shocking attack is a major blow to Harry, which Ron recognizes as a moment of genuine, shared struggle, not fame-seeking.
So the sources detail the subsequent investigation. Ron is the one who urges Harry to go see Hagrid. Ron, Harry, and Neville are the trio of investigators. They see Hagrid and Dumbledore taken away, get the spider clue, and follow it into the forest.
Aragog confirms Hagrid was framed, and the car shows up to save them from the larger spider.
Ron also makes a crucial breakthrough back at the castle, realizing Moaning Myrtle was the victim and where the chamber ended. But before they can act on it, Ginny.
Harry realizes he needs Ron. Ginny is there.
They arrive at Lockhart's office and find Neville unconscious. He's been attacked and obliviated by Lockhart, leading Neville to immediately forget who attacked him.
Harry and Ron disarm Lockhart and force him down the drain.
In the tunnel cave-in, Ron is separated. Lockhart, terrified, seizes Ron's bad wand and tries to obliviate himself, but the broken wand backfires, wiping Lockhart's memory instead. Harry is forced to go on alone,
where he defeats Riddle and the Basilisk with the Sword of Gryffindor.
And the outcome, despite Ron's critical involvement, he knew where the entrance was, he confronted Lockhart, the outcome is emotionally lopsided.
Ron receives 200 Hufflepuff points for special services to the school, but Gryffindor gets the same,
ensuring they win the House Cup. Again.
So Ron's efforts, yet again, result in his brother's house triumphing. And to add, as the source puts it, serious salt in the wound, Molly Weasley only thanks Harry repeatedly for saving Ginny.
Ron, whose actions led them there and who was willing to risk his life for his sister, feels entirely ignored by the person whose approval he most desperately.
This is the critical engine driving Ron's character. He views this neglect as fuel in the motivational tank for year 3.
Exactly. If he can't be the star in Gryffindor, and if his efforts for the Weasley family are ignored, he has to find a way to make himself known through his own house. He must actively seek to stand out against Harry.
That sets us up perfectly for year 3, the prisoner of Azkaban. So how does Ron proactively create ways to stand out, even against Harry, during the summer at the Burrow?
The entire summer is spent in highly competitive two-a-side Quidditch. Ron is relentless. After weeks of practice, they make a high-stakes keeper bet.
A bet, okay.
The loser has to wear the winner's house badge for the rest of the summer. Harry, confident with his superior Nimbus 2000, agrees.
And Ron wins.
Ron wins. And the sources analyze this beautifully. Keeper is not about pure. It's about anticipation, feel, and reading your opponent. Ron, driven by this desperation to beat Harry at something, develops a fierce competitive instinct that Harry's inherited physical gifts couldn't overcome.
So he forces Harry to wear the Hufflepuff badge, a symbolic victory that actually has far-reaching consequences.
It does. This detail, Ron's revenge for year 2, is published in a newspaper clipping reporting on Harry's activity, making the Hufflepuff badge a public symbol of Harry's summer. Ron proactively carved out a win against the boy who lived.
But this small triumph is immediately eclipsed by the threat of Sirius Black.
News of Black's escape hits the Daily Prophet, and the Weasleys, terrified for Harry, move the entire family to the leaky cauldron for security.
Arthur and Molly Weasley forbid Harry from going to Hogsmeade, and to keep the peace and be fair, because they know how easily Harry and Ron fall into dangerous situations together, they forbid Ron too.
And Ron is furious.
I can see why. He's trying to separate himself, achieve his own identity, and yet his freedom is still restricted because of Harry's fame and the danger it attracts.
He instantly directs his anger toward Harry, blaming him for being the target that prevents his independence.
This emotional tension then boils over on the train. The Dementors attack, and Harry faints.
Ron witnesses Harry's genuine, profound pain and trauma firsthand, and this forces Ron to recognize a deeper truth. Harry's life is not a constant, glorious moment in the spotlight. His fame comes with immense, recurring personal trauma.
This experience temporarily silences the rival. It reminds Ron that while he struggles with being the spare, Harry is struggling with constant loss and danger.
And we see the lingering trauma of year 2 manifesting dramatically in Neville during Lupin's data class. Neville's boggart is no longer...
It's Lockhart. Wait, why Lockhart?
The attack in the Chamber of Secrets tunnel, where Lockhart obliviated Neville, was terrifying. It resulted in Neville suffering memory loss and nightmares about losing his mind entirely.
Wow.
So his boggart screams, "Who are you?" And Lupin, recognizing the severity of the trauma, quickly coaches Neville to transform the boggart Gilderoy into Snape wearing his grandmother's clothes. It provides some comic relief, but highlights the underlying fear.
Let's turn back to Ron's self-definition, Quidditch, channeling his frustration.
Into productivity. He makes the Hufflepuff team as keeper, mentored by the established, talented, and highly loyal Cedric Diggory. He's finally gaining recognition outside the Weasley-Gryffindor dynamic.
Then comes the consequence of his summer victory. On Halloween, Sirius Black attacks the Hufflepuff common room entrance.
Right, a house elf witnesses Black tapping the wrong tune on the barrel, getting doused in vinegar, and smashing the whole barrel before.
And Ron immediately connects the dots back to Harry in their summer bed. He realizes Black must have seen the widely published newspaper photo of Harry wearing Ron's Hufflepuff badge.
He thinks Black assumes Harry is in Hufflepuff.
The threat is now acutely real for Ron. Black is targeting his chosen house, his friends, and possibly him directly because of his association with Harry. This heightens the stakes dramatically for the upcoming Quidditch.
Gryffindor versus Hufflepuff.
This rivalry becomes deeply personal. The match is played in a massive thunderstorm. Ron is highly motivated and plays lights-out keep.
Following Cedric's strategy to build a huge lead, 140-0, to make Harry irrelevant in the seeker dynamic.
And the strategy works perfectly. Ron is blocking everything. Harry renews his vigor, but a bolt of lightning strikes, revealing the black dog Sirius Black and then the snit.
As Harry and Cedric race, Dementors flood the pit.
Harry falls, the Nimbus is destroyed, and Cedric catches the snit. Hufflepuff wins. This should be Ron's ultimate victory, a defining moment of individual achievement.
But it's utterly spoiled. Cedric, embodying true Hufflepuff fairness and loyalty, admits Harry would have caught it otherwise. The win has an asterisk, and Ron is left feeling hollow.
He won the game, but the conversation is still all about Harry's trauma and his broom.
And this loss becomes the primary catalyst for Ron's mature growth. Harry starts seeking out Lupin to learn the Patronus charm. Ron is suffering from compounded frustrations, the Hogsmeade ban, the spoiled Quidditch win.
And then Fred and George give the Marauders map to Harry instead of him.
That map snub is deeply painful. Ron is the one who most needs freedom from restriction, and his own brothers, knowing his predicament, choose Harry. It fuels his feeling of being the neglected, less essential brother.
But Ron uses his pain differently this time. He and Harry use the map anyway to sneak to Hogsmeade, where they overhear Fudge and company discussing Sirius's betrayal.
Which renders Harry speechless with grief, and Ron sees Harry's genuine despair and trauma again. He realizes his petty rivalry.
So this motivates Ron to seek out Lupin.
Determined to prove that he cares about Harry's safety more than any house cup or internal rivalry, he proactively seeks the Patronus charm, which he achieves a consistent silver.
What's fascinating here is that his motivation is no longer just jealousy. It's a desire to be worthy of his brother, driven by Hufflepuff's core value of fierce protective loyalty once that loyalty is earned.
The danger escalates when Sirius Black attacks the Hufflepuff common room again, making it all the way to Ron's dorm room. The threat, fueled by that ridiculous newspaper photo, is immediate and terrifying.
This second attack convinces the boys to make a massive sacrifice.
Harry, feeling responsible for endangering Ron and his new friends, visits. After Patronus practice, Harry reveals the Marauders map and surrenders.
It's an act of profound protective brotherhood. He gives up his last remaining source of freedom to ensure Ron and the rest of the Weasleys stay safe.
Now for the final match, Gryffindor versus Slytherin. Hufflepuff has 2 wins, so Gryffindor needs to win by 50 points to take the cup. Ron, who is finally on stable, deeply trusting terms with Harry, has to make
house pride or his brother's success.
And he decides to give Harry the victory. He baits Malfoy by yelling that my brother will still get the cup, which is a perfect psychological move, making Malfoy abandon his strategy.
And Ron subtly points Harry to the snitch at the bottom of the Slytherin goalpost. Harry catches it, Gryffindor wins the cup.
Ron shares in the private glory of that win. His loyalty allowed his brother to triumph, and Ron knew this sets up the climax at the Shrieking Shack,
where Peter Pettigrew is revealed.
Peter tries to escape, but Ron, not Harry or Hermione, due to his honed defensive instincts from Patronus practice, capture Pettigrew, holding him tight outside the tunnel until the others arrive.
This is an absolutely pivotal win for the war and for Ron's self-worth.
Sirius is cleared and immediately offers Harry a home, fulfilling James and Lily's true intention. Ron earned significant end-of-year points, but Hufflepuff still lost the cup. His journey proves his deep loyalty and capacity for individual life-saving, even if he still feels overshadowed by Harry's inevitable triumph.
Ron's internal conflict and complex relationship with Harry are now fully established as we enter the Triwizard Tournament, and the events of the summer fundamentally change the trajectory of the war itself, starting with Harry's painful departure.
Harry makes the difficult decision to leave the burrow and live with his newly innocent godfather, Sirius Black. And we have to connect back to the bond of blood. The Weasleys provided love and safety.
But Dumbledore allows the move.
Because only Sirius could truly fulfill the intentions of Harry's parents and offer the emotional stability his true guardian.
Molly and Arthur are supportive. They recognize the historical necessity of it, but Ron takes Harry's departure as a major betrayal.
He captioned Pettigrew, worked hard to prove his worth, only to see Harry leave the family. This heartbreak manifests in profoundly regrettable ways, fueling their upcoming rivalry.
Meanwhile, Peter Pettigrew's capture awakens Barty Crouch Jr., who's being held under the Imperious Curse.
Right. Barty Crouch Sr. is stunned by the news of Black's innocence, allowing his son to break free and track down the weakened Voldemort.
So Voldemort's return is altered here. Bertha Jorkins is safe, so Frank Bryce's death is used to make Nagini a Horcrux. And Harry, living with Sirius, immediately confides his scar pain and dreams to his experienced godfather,
who becomes a crucial mentor and protector. This changes the Quidditch World Cup dramatic. Sirius is present. When the Death Eaters suspend the Muggles, Sirius immediately
he duels the leader and blasts the mask off, Lucius Malfoy.
And Sirius assumes Lucius is the servant referenced in the prop front. Lucius, tipped off about Voldemort's return by the conversation, manages to apparate.
Crucially, there is no dark mark that night, because the Death Eaters are dispersed by Sirius, who is now publicly known and fighting on the side of light.
Exactly. Lucius Malfoy is tipped off, and the conflict begins immediately. Then comes the moment the fate of Hogwarts shifts forever, the Goblet of Fire.
The hall goes silent, and Dumbledore reads the final champion's name, Ronald.
Ron is filled with shock, confusion, and pride.
And the sources confirm the beautiful symmetry here. Cedric Diggory winked at Ron, admitting he put Ron's name in.
Cedric recognized Ron's Hufflepuff potential and his deep desire to escape Harry's shadow, solidified by Ron achieving a Patronus and proving his keeper talent. Ron is the rightful Hogwarts.
But the celebration is immediately cut short. The goblet spits out a fourth name, Harry Potter.
Both boys deny entering their names. The school turns on Harry, believing he sought attention and stole Ron's glory.
And the sources confirm the new, powerful moniker, the Flare and the Spare.
Ron is the Flare, the flame-red hair, the Goblet of Fire, the true champ. Harry is the Spare, the unexpected entry, seen as a backup, who ditched his adopted family and is now living off his new fortune with his rich godfather.
Only to steal the real champion's moment, Rita Skeeter jumps all over this,
fueling the narrative that Harry is a fame-seeker who abandoned the filthy Weasley. This creates intense tension. Harry is frustrated that Ron already knew about the dragons, Charlie.
Ron is operating fully within his Hufflepuff loyalty, using his family connections to gain an advantage.
And the preparation for the first task reflects their new alliance. Harry gets tactical advice from Sirius. Use the conjunctivitis curse on the dragon's eye. Ron, recognizing Cedric's instrumental role, confides in Cedric and Charlie.
Charlie tells him to get airborne, where a dragon's flight is predictable. Cedric helps him refine a plan using decoys.
Ron is the first to go. He performs the Hurricane Halt, a rapid spinning decoy move to deflect the dragon's fire. He gets the egg, but catches his robes alight, scoring 39.
Harry, using the conjunctivitis curse effectively on the Horntail, scores 40+.
The small point gap is irrelevant. Public perception is focused on Ron's bravery and his spectacular maneuver. He is proving he earned his spot.
And this is where we see true partnership emerging from rival. The second.
Yes, Moody covertly helps Cedric by teaching sixth years about merpeople sounds, knowing Cedric will tell Ron.
Who then immediately tells Harry. Harry solves the egg, consults Neville, who suggests gillyweed, and Harry writes to Sirius for the magical plan.
Ron, meanwhile, prepares with a bubblehead charm. At the bottom of the lake, Harry finds the four hosts, Cho, Hermione, Ginny, and Cedric. And Harry, feeling this moral obligation, can't bear to leave anyone.
Ron arrives and begins untying Hermione. Then, Victor Crumb appears with a shark head transformation, acting strangely, and slams into Ron.
And the sources confirm Crumb is under the Imperious Curse, controlled by Barty Crouch.
Ron, struggling to reapply his bubblehead charm while being circled by Crumb, pulls out his wand and casts the conjunctivitis curse directly into Crumb's shark eyes.
Crumb veers off course. The boys realize Crumb won't save Ginny.
So they decide, together, that they must rescue all four hostages, Cho, Ginny, Hermione, and Cedric.
Sacrificing their points, but demonstrating extraordinary moral bravery and protective loyalty. They surface after the allotted hour, receiving the highest moral praise, even if their points suffer.
The period between tasks reveals key emotional shift. Ron is convinced Crumb's aggression was dark magic, confirming to him that Harry is in real, tangible danger.
His desire to prove his worth transforms into a protective vigiler. This motivates their partnership further. They train on defensive magic with Cho, Hermione, Neville, and Cedric, focusing on stunning spells and shield charms.
They become evenly matched.
They practice simultaneous disarming spells, accidentally shouting Expelliarmus together, disarming each other and catching the opposite wand.
So they are ready, fully trained, equally protective, and bonded by this threat. We move into the maze. Ron and Harry enter together, tied for the lead.
Ron, running at full sprint, rounds a corner and is immediately confronted by the Imperiist Victor Crumb. Crumb, targeting the true champion who humiliated him in the lake, hits Ron with the Cruciatus curse.
Ron barely shield charms in time, but the wand is forced from his hand. Harry hears the commotion and rushes onto the scene, instantly disarming Crumb.
Krum, however, sprints at Ron. Harry, without hesitation, throws his own holly wand to Ron, snatches Krum's wand, and they both shout "stupefy" simultaneously, knocking Krum unconscious.
That immediate instinctive partnership saves them. They look up. The flaming hedge, set by Krum's jinx, has burned down, revealing the Triwizard Cup.
And Harry insists Ron takes it, recognizing Ron's rightful place as the Hogwarts champion.
But Ron, demonstrating Hufflepuff loyalty mixed with extreme awareness of Harry's danger, grabs the cup the portkey to ensure Hufflepuff wins.
And this decision, driven by house pride and loyalty to Cedric, is the critical juncture that alters the end of the book forever.
Ron lands with a jolt in the little Hangleton graveyard.
He realizes it's a portkey and immediately hears muffled noises. Lucius Malfoy emerges, wand drawn, having anticipated Harry. Lucius is faced with a problem. Admit failure to Voldemort or proceed with the ritual using Ron's blood?
Lucius, terrified of Voldemort's wrath after the World Cup failed, decides to proceed, arguing to the weak, waiting Voldemort that any wizard would suffice.
He binds Ron and drops Ron's blood.
Voldemort is reborn, but the magical mechanics are now twisted. Lily's protective blood sacrifice is now anchored in Ron.
And Voldemort, furious that his servant used the wrong blood, demands Ron duel. Ron is hit immediately with Crucio.
Back in the maze, Harry feels his scar burn like never before. He sees a clear vision of Ron being tortured. Through their connection, Harry sends a powerful, uncontrolled message via the pain link Voldemort is using.
You have to fight it.
Ron, hearing Harry's voice echoing in his mind, grips Harry's holly wand. He shouts Expelliarmus as Voldemort fires Avada Kedavra.
The two spells collide, invoking Priori Incantatem, the highly rare twin core effect, amplified by Ron's shared blood connection to Voldemort.
A golden dome surrounds. Ghostly figures emerge from Voldemort's wand. Lucius Malfoy, who instructs Ron to bring his body back to clear his name.
An old man, and then James and Lily Potter. They thank Ron for giving Harry the family they couldn't provide.
With a few precious seconds of reprieve, Ron wrenches Harry's wand away, dives onto Lucius Malfoy's body, and grabs the Triwizard Cup, shouting, Accio.
He is gone.
Yeah.
He returns to the Hogwarts grounds with Lucius's dead body, clutching the cup, and a fresh lightning bolt scar across his forehead, symbolizing his new, terrifying connection to Voldemort's fate.
This changes everything for the war. Fudge, confronted with Ron's fresh lightning bolt scar, Lucius Malfoy's corpse, and the subsequent capture and Veritaserum interrogation of Barty Crouch Jr. cannot deny Voldemort's return.
This is the single largest blow to Voldemort's plan imagined. Fudge aligns with Dumbledore immediately. The Ministry swaps Dementors for Auror. Ron's intel names 5 Death Eaters from the graveyard lineup, who are swiftly rounded up.
Lucius and Pettigrew are gone. Voldemort is left with only 4 reliable followers. His momentum is destroyed.
And the Ministry is protecting the prophecy. There is no Umbridge. And Sirius Black is the new data professor teaching advanced defensive magic.
The Horcrux hunt is dramatically accelerated. Slughorn, feeling profoundly safer under a ministry actively cooperating with Dumbledore, willingly reveals the 7 Horcrux theory.
And Ron, due to his newly formed blood bond with Voldemort, is now fully included in the hunt. He is the only one who can truly understand Voldemort's motivation via the scar.
So Dumbledore, Harry, and Ron address the known Horcruxes quickly. Dumbledore destroys the Gaunt Ring with the Sword of Gryffindor, but the curse causes him immense pain.
Here is Ron's defining Hufflepuff. Fox swoops in, grabbing the sorting hat, which belches forth Hufflepuff's cup, the true cup, a symbol of Helga Hufflepuff's generous nature, corrupted by Voldemort's ambition.
Ron immediately connects the dot. He was a true Hufflepuff, dedicated and loyal, just as Harry was a true Gryffindor. The cup is a symbol of vanity and misplaced ambition.
So Ron, understanding the need for healing and purity, fills the cup with phoenix tears, profoundly potent healing, which instantly destroys the cup Horcrux with a blinding golden.
And he rushes the phoenix tears to Dumbledore, who is healed, astonished that Ron's intuitive, empathetic act of loyalty and healing destroyed the Horcrux.
Moments later, Harry and Ron share a simultaneous vision of Gringotts being broken into. Voldemort is checking the cup's vault. He knows they are hunted.
The pressure mounts. They hunt for the locket. Dumbledore, Harry, and Ron go to the cave. Dumbledore drinks the drink of despair. Voldemort, now master of the Elder Wand, appears and kills Dumbledore.
They recover the locket, but it's RAB's fake. Harry realizes RAB was a Death Eater, but Ron has a better idea than Snape. Sirius
instantly recognizes the handwriting and initials as his estranged brother, Regulus Black.
Sirius leads them to Grimmauld Place. Ron finds Regulus's actual room, seeing the poster with the phrase, "For disgressor of all, for the greater." Harry offers Sirius the honor of destroying the fake locket with the Sword of Gryffindor, allowing Sirius to finish his brother's noble work.
The final hunt for the diadem accelerates. Voldemort, tracking the locket's disappearance through Draco, visits Grimmauld Place. Seeing the Grindelwald poster, Voldemort realizes who stole the Elder Wand.
In a rage, he kills Kreacher. This surge of emotion sends Harry and Ron to their...
Harry calls Dobby, who reveals the room of requirement. Ron, Harry, Cho Chang, Harry's girlfriend, providing Ravenclaw inside Hermione, and Neville searched the room.
And this is where Voldemort uses their shared link for maximum psychological damage. Ron is violently attacked by a hallucination, exploiting his deepest, He hears Voldemort's voice booming in his head. Ron Weasley, Harry Potter's stupid friend, the spare.
The hallucination attack is physically real. Harry witnesses Ron's death, feeling it through the scar connection. Hermione, in shock, grabs the sword of Gryffindor and destroys the diadem, which Cho found.
Harry is shattered. Believing all 7 Horcruxes are destroyed, and he is the final love crux. He races to meet Voldemort, convinced he must die.
He is hit by Avada Kedavra and wakes in limbo. There he finds Dumbledore and Ron. This is the moment we've been waiting for. Dumbledore, you have to explain the magical mechanics here. The central premise is that Ron is the love crux. How is Ron alive, and what protection did his death trigger?
This is the ultimate twist of fate. When Voldemort took Ron's blood in the graveyard, he unknowingly anchored Lily's powerful protective magic, the bond of blood, not just in himself, but in the person whose blood.
So Ron, having the blood that shields Harry flowing through Voldemort's veins, became the true magical love crux.
Exactly. Voldemort's own twisted act of resurrection made Ron essential to Harry's survival.
So Ron's witnessed death, his perceived self-sacrifice for the group, completed the protective charm, specifically because that protective magic was now rooted.
Precise. Dumbledore explains that because the protective blood was used in the ritual, Ron's perceived death was the only thing that could truly trigger Harry's return, whole, and offer the final loophole.
So Ron's ultimate act of protective loyalty, driven by his deep-seated Hufflepuff nature, was misinterpreted as the necessary sacrifice.
He is returned to the grounds with Harry. Voldemort is standing over Harry's body. Suddenly, Ron, alive and seeing the fear in everyone's eyes, rushes forward carrying the sword of Gryffindor,
But the path to victory is never straightforward. Draco Malfoy, still consumed by revenge for his father's death, for which he blames Ron, disarms Ron mid-stride.
Voldemort praises Draco, seeing him finally embracing the dark art. But Draco's act is complex. He looks at Ron, gives a small, almost imperceptible wink, raises the sword of Gryffindor, and beheads Nagini.
That's for my father, he hisses.
Draco's final, twisted loyalty is to his lineage, believing Lucius was killed for the wrong cause, but the outcome is the final Horcrux.
With the final Horcrux gone, Voldemort turns on Draco, Harry.
And because Ron used Harry's Hollywand in the graveyard, the twin core effect is now amplified exponentially, resulting in magnificent golden flames erupting from Harry's wand against the Elder Wand. Voldemort is consumed entirely, turning to ash.
Ron's trajectory, born from insecurity and rivalry, led directly to Voldemort's doom. He was the vital, complicated partner who, through his capture of Pettigrew, his sacrifice in the graveyard, and his eventual death that triggered Harry's return, ensured the survival of both Cedric Diggory and Sirius.
He was the chosen champion who made the victory possible.
What a phenomenal, complicated, and deeply moving trajectory. Ron's choice of Hufflepuff, driven purely by the desire to escape the shadow of his famous brother, led not to quiet mediocrity, but to an intense rival, deep, complex brotherhood, and ultimately the co-destruction of Voldemort.
The alternate story highlights that Ron's spare status turned him into a profoundly motivated champ. His Hufflepuff loyalty, recognized and nurtured by Cedric and proven in the face of Dementors and Dark Curse, allowed him to find his own strength and forge the essential partnership needed to win the war, proving his unique worth beyond simply being Harry's best friend.
He became a savior in his own right, permanently tied to Voldemort's fate. So what does this all mean for you? If Ron's greatest strength came from rejecting the path everyone expected him to follow, the Weasley path to Gryffindor, to find his true contribution and self-worth in Hufflepuff, what unspoken expectation in your own life might you need to defy to find your true contribution? Something to mull over until our next deep dive.